right, let's get to the federal employees.
After Elon Musk warned it was coming, an email went out to millions of federal workers, directing them to list 5 bullets of what you accomplished last week by midnight tonight. On his social media platform, X, Musk threatened that failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. The ultimatum coming just hours after President Trump urged Musk to get more aggressive as he works to fire thousands of government employees.
We're removing all of the unnecessary, incompetent, and corrupt bureaucrats from the federal workforce.
But even some of the president's allies are taking issue with the approach.
If I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives.
And while a few agencies urged workers to comply with the email, the FBI, led by Kash Patel, told agents to pause on responding. So did the State Department, led by Marco Rubio, telling staffers that no employee is obligated to report their activities outside of their department chain of command. The Pentagon also opted out just days after the president made major personnel moves there.
What is this? What's your argument back? Okay, what's confusing about the email? If you're doing your job and being productive, then you have nothing to worry about. What are you talking about? You think this is a perfectly valid thing to do in the middle of the weekend to be like, hey, sorry, you have until the end of Monday, the workday, to respond to what kind of, with 5 bullet points, what kind of work you've done in the past month, or else you're fired. Do you not wonder why so many other people, including Trump's own FBI pick, was like, yeah, you don't have to do that. Get the out of here. You can't do that, man. What are you talking about? Thank God there is at least some semblance of labor rules and regulations around that sort of thing. A non-response is not a resignation. What if you didn't see the email? What are you talking about? What if it got buried? What if it was in your spam folder? There's a million different reasons as to why that would be completely unacceptable. Subject to the discretion of the president, they will be given another chance. Failure to respond a second time will result in termination. That's what he said 40 minutes ago. Guy who tweets 138 times a day, by the way. Dude, were you on vacation? Guess what? You're cooked. Were you actually working so you didn't see the email? Guess what? You're cooked. That's not how this works. Also, if you personally think that he is going to scour through all of those emails and not just simply use this as a way to just unjustifiably fire a bunch of other employees, not even fire, consider them to have resigned, you're out of your mind. HasanAbi, as a federal employee, this is insane. I'm stressed out of my mind about my dog who I got during work from home. For the last 5 years, I have to worry about losing my job. They told us today we could ignore the email. Yeah, most departments already told them to ignore the email, and it's not real anyway.
Do you think that DOGE could benefit from more streamlined communications? There was that email telling employees to give 5 things that they've done last week. Agency heads then told people to ignore it, but Elon Musk...
about the last email that was sent, where he wanted to know what you did.
What are we doing when Bongino arrests me? I don't know. I'm just hoping that as a fellow podcaster, he won't arrest me.
And they don't mean that in any way combatively with Elon. They're just saying there are some people that you don't want to really have them tell you what they're working on last week. But other than that, I think everyone thought it was a pretty ingenious idea. We have to find out where these people are. Who are they? And we said, if you don't respond, we assume you're not around.
And that holds, that stands.
And you're not getting paid anymore, too. So, you know, we're doing a real job. And we just had a poll come out, I guess the Harvard poll, saying that it's...
That's also so funny because, like, how the is Elon supposed to make adequate assessments over 2 million federal employees? Like, it's not like they're saying, like, report to your department head who knows exactly what your job is supposed to be. Like, how is this supposed to work? Yeah, using AI, I know. Brilliant guy. That's surely supposed to work. It's just a way to... I know they're using AI chat. I know. It's just... What have I told you before? AI only works if you are trying to do a bad job. Okay? AI only works if you want plausible deniability. AI does not work when it's supposed to give you anything accurate. It's just a way to say, oh, we analyzed it. We interpreted all the information that we got through a sophisticated AI product, and we found out that this random number of people were fired with just cause. Not even fired. Some of them were fired with just cause. Others who did not respond resigned, which is extra illegal. You can't even force someone to resign like that.
It's massively popular what we're doing.
Yeah, it's massively popular.
It's the DOGE ultimatum. Elon Musk emailing over 2 million federal workers with this subject line. What did you do?
I think one of the funniest aspects of this is like, this is so perfect for dumb guys, you know? Like this type of stuff is so good for the dumbest guy you know. You know what I mean? Your coworker, the coworker conversations that you've had where it's like, yeah, the government's supposed to run like a business. Like we need a good businessman in charge of the government. Like, and then this is literally the run like a business. I don't understand. Why don't they just write 5 points like about what they've done and then problem solved? Okay, what happens when 100,000 employees are still fired even though they were doing their jobs? What's really idiotic about this is like they already did this with the probationary employees and that led to tremendous problems such as, you know, firing people on the Department of Energy side that were in charge of the nukes, or firing people on the, I believe it was the CDC side that was, or the FDA side that was directly tasked with combating the current avian flu. They had to go back and be like, oops, my bad. We got to rehire these guys.
That is a map of where federal workers are who are living in the states that Trump won. Look at that number. It's almost 1 million people. So yes, it's own Washington, drain the swamp, all the things. But the reason why we are starting to see and hear more concern and even backlash around the country, and even from Republican House members and senators, is because these are their constituents.
Correct. And I think there's a broader political question here, which is, does the American public at large care about these federal workers? Most
live in red states that voted for Trump is so stupid. Some of those states are literally like half red, half blue. I mean, it doesn't matter. The point is still that it's not even red states. There's Republicans in blue states that work for the federal government. Like, you are firing Republicans, okay? You shouldn't be firing anybody. It's ridiculous. You should be hiring more people, not firing people. The federal government needs more workers, not less, okay?
The new Trump administration is reveling in its bare knuckle approach to governing.
This is so sloppy.
At this stage, Republicans could be like, we're just going to nuke Arkansas. And Fox News the next morning would be like, these dumbass libtards are undermining our glorious president's fantastic opinions on nuking Arkansas. Do you understand? How stupid can you be? Who cares about Arkansas? It should be nuked. It's, after all, free real estate once we nuke the entire state of Arkansas. You guys are so dumb. These dumb libtards, once again, getting mad. Like, what are you doing? They just do not care at all about any of the consequences, dude. I say glass Arkansas now. Restore glory to the nation. Yeah, I saw this. Maybe FAFO can be the enforcement arm of DOGE. Oh, bleh. Ay. Scoop, at least some of Trump's firings of probationary employees are unlawful, according to an oversight agency investigating these actions. Those workers could be reinstated into their jobs this week, creating a path for tens of thousands of recently fired feds to be rehired. Judge Colleen Collar-Coatley, is there an administrator of DOGE at the present time? I don't know the answer to that, says government counsel. Preliminary injunction hearing at 2 p.m. today at DOGE, on DOGE access to Treasury records. DOGE is in court. I don't know what this Harvard poll is, by the way. I don't know what
earlier
this is.
Today, Greg, the Harvard Harris poll came out and said 76% of Americans support what DOGE is trying to do, asking people to show their work. The American Federation of Government Employees, that's the union, said that the email was cruel and disrespectful. What say you?
First of all,
76% of Americans agree with just like random firings of federal government employees. What the is going on? As President Trump's lawyers, the U.S. attorneys, we are proud to fight to protect his leadership as our president, and we're vigilant in standing against entities like the AP that refuse to put America first. Wait, what the The DOJ is not the personal law firm of the president. The Attorney General represents the United States in legal matters generally. I still think the Republicans are 100% using Musk as a fall guy to go out and do all the unhinged destruction of government they all want so they can eventually throw him under the bus and save some face. Oh. Does anyone have this Harvard poll? I want to see it. I want to see this Harvard poll. Approval and mood of the country. Voters are more optimistic about the direction of the country since the new administration. Country, right track, wrong track. Those who say right track, 124, 10%. Holy 71%. Holy God damn. Independents went from 26 to 31%. Like, look at this. 125, 34%. 75%. Democrats went from 52% to 21%. God damn, dude. Republicans are so rabid. I swear to God. We already watched this, didn't we? Oh, no, this is a new one. Ruh-roh. Oh, God. Fucking Harry Enton. All right, let's see.
Not as well received as the original. Economy is currently good or excellent. Look at this. In April of 2017, it was 40%. Look at where we are in February of 2020.
Yeah, no he didn't fix anything. Like, it's the one thing you can't really, like, you can't just, like, trans away the problem. You know what I mean? Republicans unironically thought maybe Will Stancil was right.
Just half that level. 20%. My goodness gracious. The term one high was 63% of Americans in February of 2020 thought the economy was excellent or good. This 20% we have currently going on right now is fewer Americans.
Yeah, this is just Republicans. Okay. This is just like the Republicans that are already rich or, you know, have some kind of like upper middle class position. For them, it's like, oh, dude, it's excellent now. Now that the Republicans are in charge, it's excellent.
Saying the economy is excellent or good, then at any point during Trump's first term, this is not a good sign, Kate Baldwin.
J.D. Vance said last week, you got to give them time, even though that's not what they promised in the campaign. They said they bring prices down day one. But what is the view of the future economy then?
Yeah, so this is the current economy. How about the future economy? Is the economy getting worse or better? And all I can say is yikes. Yikes. Again, compare it to where we were in the first term at this point, April of 2017, 53%. The majority said it was getting better. How about now in February of 2025? The majority say it's getting worse. 59% compared to just 35% who say it's getting better. Worse is higher now than at any point in Trump's first term pre-COVID. This number, to me, is much more worrisome. Perhaps the worst number I've seen for Trump on the economy, because it says even if the economy now isn't great, they also project that it's only going to get worse from here. This is a big yikes.
And fold in inflation, just like general views on inflation.
Yeah, okay. So I think the question is, what's exactly cooking here? What is going on? You know, there's this whole idea that Trump was going to bring down inflation, right, Kate? So what are Americans actually saying? You know, are Google searches for inflation going down or going up? They're going up. They're up 123% from February of 2017. And more than that, perhaps even more important, they're up 23% from last month. Americans' fears about inflation are not going away. They are as interested in it as they were by the end of the Joe Biden administration. And the bottom line is they're far more interested in it than they were at any point during Donald Trump's first term. As I said at the beginning, the reboot, the sequel, is not being anywhere near as well received as the original when it comes to Donald Trump and the economy.
Let us see. Harry, thank you so much.
When you get to the question of the Harris poll, please help people understand how the questions are phrased. They literally push poll questions. Things like, does the government have waste? Therefore, DOGE is helping. Agree. Oh, they did that. Yo, the Harvard Caps Harris poll is so incredibly busted. In his first month as president, Trump enjoys majority approval of 52%. Do you disapprove or approve of the president, Donald J. Trump, doing his job as the president of the United States? Okay, that's fine. That's a normal question. Handling key issues has majority approval on immigration, reducing government costs, and returning America to its values. Returning America to its values, 53%. Reducing the cost of the government, 53%. Handling inflation, 45%. Administering the government, 49%. Meanwhile, Dem Party approval has slipped to just 36% of voters approving how they're handling their job. That's not confusing. RFK Jr., Trump, Vance, and Gabbard all enjoy net favorability while perceptions of key Dems are underwater. Now, let's skip. Okay, small majority support giving citizenship of children of illegal immigrants, and over 3 in 5 say the Constitution requires anyone born to be a U.S. citizen, obviously. Besides renaming the Gulf of Mexico, each of Trump's policies tested received strong majority support, especially border security and reducing government waste. Yeah, that's funny. That like the only thing that is pissing off people is renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. God, Americans are so dumb. Anyway, most voters say the government should hire based on merit. At the same time, it works to prevent discrimination. Okay. So literally how it was. Okay, got it. Okay, so most voters say things were fine the way that they are, even though the Republicans lie and say that they're not that way. Okay, voters are split on whether DEI departments are needed in government or not. 51% say needed. Most voters are satisfied with their 2024 presidential choice. 8% Harris voter who is now satisfied with Trump is crazy. 6% Trump voter who wishes Harris won. Oh God, we're so cooked. A plurality of voters say Trump's policies will make them financially better off, but also say inflation will increase. Voters are divided on whether Trump will make the world more stable or chaotic. Do you think Donald Trump's actions will unify or divide the country? Divide, 54%. 46% say unify. Do you think Donald Trump's policies will make the world more stable? 45%. Make the world more chaotic? 45%. No effect? 10%. DOGE. Now, here is the good stuff. 2 and 3 voters say the federal government's debt is unsustainable, and over 4 and 5 say they should work to balance the budget. This right here is the impact of endless amounts of propaganda, okay? From liberals and Republicans and conservatives, just constantly talking about the debt, okay? An overwhelming majority of voters say the government should reduce government expenses over increasing taxes, and a full examination of expenditures is needed. Okay, that's this dogma. Overwhelming majority of voters say the government should reduce government expenses over increasing taxes, and a full examination of expenditures is needed. Yeah, nobody wants to increase taxes. They just want to reduce government expenditures. Great. Well, I guess that's what we got to do. Do you support or oppose the goal of cutting $1 trillion of government expenditures? 69% support. Most voters agree with having a government agency dedicated to efficiency, and that DOGE is helping to make major cuts. Do you think there should be a U.S. government agency focused on efficiency initiatives? That's what they're saying is why people love DOGE? Do you think the so-called Department of Government Efficiency led by Elon Musk is helping make major cuts in government expenditures or not? We're so cooked. Yeah, I know the government, the Federal Financial Accountability, the Government Accountability Office already exists, chatters. Americans don't, though. They're stupid. Hi. That's where this was coming from. Got it. Okay, well, let's continue.
Jen Psaki, Michael Steele. You're not outraged that your coworkers just got doged. I mean, you just lost Joy Reid, Jonathan Capehart, Katie Fang. Who else did they?
Alexis Wagner.
Alexis Wagner. They all went over, but that's okay.
Really?
That's okay because in the media you never talk about that, do you? The thing is, this was obviously the email was just a test to see if you still exist. You know, this is what you do for the George Costanzas, you know, the people that maintain a position but not a presence. So it's a bureaucratic bird call. And I've had to clean house a couple of times when I was an editor, and you always start with the outside in, and you have to do things in a big way. And when you listen to these criticisms, it sounds exactly like what they said about the border. When we were in crisis at the border, there was nothing you could do about it. Oh, you can do the little things, but you can't do the big thing. Seal the border. 'Cause it's too mean. It's too heartless. It's too insensitive. It doesn't show any empathy. And if you cast a wide net, whether it's DOGE or the border, you're always going to get the wrong people. But that's the argument whenever you're dealing with excess. Whenever you need to cut and you know the company's in trouble, they will always try to stop it by using.
If you look at the savings DOGE claims, a lot of it is wrong and shows. No, I know they're lying. I'm just sad that is such an effective tool. Lying is an effective tool only when there's no one that can correct the lies. No one really trusts the institutions that are supposed to be tasked with correcting those lies because those institutions have lied too many times. We're cooked. It's so cooked.
18 departments were out the door. A lot of people in the private sector, Jesse, might be have empathy for people losing their jobs, but might be rolling their eyes at the suggestion that it would be cruel and disrespectful to ask for just a little update on what you did last week.
I updated everybody on what I did last week.
Oh, okay.
Here's my 5 bullet points. I had a pretty good week.
Yeah.
I worked on a federal holiday when everybody else stayed home.
Wow.
When
that counts as 2 then.
I made a brilliant and persuasive argument for DOGE dividend checks.
Not
Cha-ching! I annihilated Jessica. Audience loved it. Ratings soared.
I can't do this. All right, I'm done. Some clarity by Trump. It's voluntary, but if you don't answer, I guess you get fired.
Hopefully once and for all what your expectations are with this email to federal employees.
No, you see, you don't understand. You get semi-fired. Oh, you wanted clarity? You get semi-fired if you don't answer the email.
What are you going to use that information for? And do you see it as voluntary, like OPM has said, or mandatory?
Yeah, well, it's somewhat voluntary, but it's also if you don't answer, I guess you get fired.
Thank you for the clarity, Mr. President. This really clears things up for everyone.
What it really is do people
I'm still
exist?
lost on that.
We have this massive government with millions of people, and nobody knows who's working for the government, who's not. So what they're doing is they're sending out a letter to everybody, and they're saying, what were the things you did last week? I guess they ask for 5. And if people are working, it's easy. I could tell you 5 things I did last week. I could tell you 5 things I did 6 weeks ago, right?
What is this? So if I'm reading this correctly, the White House, controlled by Trump, and State Department, controlled by Rubio, approved these aid payments. Then some nerds hired by Elon kept stopping them. So basically, they created an entire new deep state. It's great stuff. It's cool. You don't understand. This is a good thing. It's always good to create a redundancy to reduce redundancy in the federal government. And then that redundancy reducing agency ends up creating more redundant policies. Okay? This is a normal and good thing.
So he's just saying, I need somebody on the outside, doesn't need to be elected, to go in and make some tough decisions.
I think all Elon wants to do is take Brian Kilmeade. Brian would send an email that would say, I did Fox and Friends on Monday, and I did radio on Monday. On Tuesday, I did Fox and Friends. I did radio. Wednesday. Yeah, just 1 week of what you did just to make sure you're a live body and you're a real person. I understand what you're saying. You do feel for the federal workers that are getting lumped in and are worried about losing their jobs. But I think the purpose of this is not necessarily, if you respond to the email, it sounds like you have a good chance of surviving at the workplace.
Yeah, but then if your advisor says don't do it, that's so complicated.
Yeah.
No amount of cult-like loyalty to Trump and conservative principles is going to cause a Republican federal government employee to watch this piece of coverage and not think, how about you out-of-touch multimillionaires lose your jobs, dickhead? What do you mean? Oh, you're fine. Just write an email and you'll probably be spared. There is no way, dude. There is no shot.
Ultimately, this is going to be tied up in courts for a while. Yeah. And in fact, some of the
thank God. Thank God. It's going to be tied up in the courts anyway, so you won't lose your job in the interim. Oh, great. But I thought the courts were woke and gay for stopping the Trump administration's boulder. What happened? No, the courts are great now because it's stopping us from killing ourselves. Thank God. I have a really cool solution. Are you ready? It's called Don't Erroneously Dismantle the Administrative State. How about that? I know. Nope, sorry, can't be done. We have to do it. Impossible. We must do it.